I've spoken a little bit in the past about how I think the RPG genre is going through somewhat of a transformation, and I used Fallout 4 as an example of this. I found the game to be wide as an ocean but deep as a puddle. That analogy seems to be consistently applied to many open world games nowadays that advertise an experience that will give meaning to a player's experience, but in the end the only meaning you will remember will be the branch of skills you initially selected before unlocking the rest anyway. The reason why I bring up Fallout is that I've had somewhat of a change of heart. In this video, I'll try not to recycle many of the points that I raised in my other video regarding the RPG genre. Since I uploaded that one a couple of weeks ago, I decided to look deeper into why the current platter of games weren't serving up the meaning that I loved experiencing in older RPGs. Firstly, I tried to understand why I enjoyed RPGs in the first place. I like some for different reasons, for instance. As a few examples, Knights of the Old Republic was one of the first role-playing games I had ever played, and was my favourite probably until I played Knights of the Old Republic 2 years later. Looking back, it's actually difficult to say for sure if I valued KOTOR because of the same reasons I value RPGs now. There was the lack of a voiced protagonist, and to a degree a focus on choosing your path and sticking to it. In terms of KOTOR 2, I think I just valued the writing and story in such a way that it almost overshadowed the gameplay. And for the love of God, Disney, please give Obsidian the reins for Star Wars again. In this search to find what it would take to make RPGs great again, I found another element that is almost completely, actually definitely completely, absent from a number of RPG games today. Consonance and dissonance, or in other words, tension and release. Consonance and dissonance is a concept within music theory that I do not pretend to understand. I'm a layman. I'm a pleb when it comes to anything sheet music. Regardless, I understand tension and release. A sense of catharsis is defined as the process of releasing and thereby providing relief from strong or repressed emotions. While that might seem a bit vague, it is present in pretty much every video game ever, and the only primary element of that process that changes is the time between tension and release. Other factors can heighten this tension, like horror or danger, but time is a very effective motivator for catharsis. Let's apply this to a few games and how they present this concept, beginning with one of the shortest implemented frameworks of tension and release, the Call of Duty franchise. I don't really have anything against Call of Duty, to tell the truth. While a lot of people, I'm sure, they see the creators as money-grubbing monsters that are degenerating the video game industry, but I'm sure there are plenty of people working on these games that really enjoy what they do and have a passion for their work. The reason why I bring up Call of Duty is because of how they set up the concept of satisfaction or release, and why it is more similar now to Fallout 4 than you might initially suspect. In an article written back in 2013 with the release of Ghosts, Activision claimed that approximately 1.9 quadrillion people had respawned in Call of Duty multiplayer. This stat is apparently since the release of Modern Warfare 1, so the number has probably dramatically increased since then. What I tried to work out today would be the average lifespan of a Call of Duty player in an average match from these statistics, but math is not my strong suit. You can try to work it out if you wish. Let's just say that the average is something like 1 minute long. I don't really think that's much of an exaggeration. I would say that the average lifespan has actually decreased in more years as mobility of the player in multiplayer matches has increased dramatically, allowing the player to get back into the action faster and in parallel die faster. The time between spawning and death is so short in this series that there is almost no time at all for tension to build. Instead, the player is rewarded by kill streaks, leveling up, and the oh so familiar sound of the hit marker.
Point to your head, hitchhike, double dream feet, rubber legs, wag your finger, and
Release, from a neurological perspective, is essentially a hit of dopamine, and is what keeps a lot of people playing games, consciously or unconsciously. One thing I noticed when playing Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, the first Call of Duty that I had bought at launch since Modern Warfare, shot upgrades, awards, and accolades at me faster than I could shoot bullets. And I realized that Activision was now decreasing the lifespan of an average spawn and increasing the amount of things earned in that shorter amount of time. Whether this was to match the generally decreasing attention span of the user or to mitigate their need for more satisfaction as they played, or even both, is unknown to me. What I'm getting at is that since the shooter genre has created this new paradigm, which caters to the player's need to feel like they're constantly being rewarded, this has created somewhat of a gravitational pull, ripping many genres along with it. The whole point that I'm trying to get to, like a Volkswagen bus drifting around a hairpin turn, is that RPGs are being affected negatively by standards of satisfaction set by shooters. Again, we return to Fallout. Something that I once relied on but have since become to despise is the Quicksave feature, or even the function to save at any time I want. Quicksaving allows the player to create a shadow of release at any time they want, but since they can do it any time they want, the satisfaction is not felt. It doesn't matter whether you're about to enter a fortress armed with dozens of gun-toting raiders or just wandering a radioactive plane, the quicksave is a better weapon than any rifle or bazooka you have stowed away in your bottomless backpack. You relieve yourself from any tension regarding failure, and instead only worry about what cool weapons you'll find and whether they will be better than your current sawn-off. Fallout 4 took this to an insultingly new level by allowing you to quick save during conversations. Why the fuck should I be able to quick save during conversations? Do they care about the nuance of the script at all? That I might have to take a chance with a speech check or a risky question? By quick saving, I never have to worry about how what I say will affect my actions. Can you imagine if in, say, Inglourious Bastards, the farmer stowing Jews under his floorboards could quick save between each exchange with Christoph Waltz's character until he found the perfect thing to say that would get him out of the house? This feature completely erases dramatic build-up in this context, so why should it be in a game like Fallout when storytelling is one of the core tenets? Similar to Call of Duty, you can make the same distinction between respawn and death by looking at the time between quicksave to quicksave. When I first played through Fallout 4, I imagined that I was pressing F5 before just about any battle of consequence, just so I wouldn't have to worry about dying. After making my previous video about the way that the RPG genre is changing, I decided to revisit Fallout 4 and asked around online which mods I should get. Not the ones that would give me the prettiest visuals or the coolest weapons or the bustiest waifus, but the hardest challenge. I had tried survival, but I wanted something a bit more. Enter Frost. Frost is a full conversion mod for Fallout 4, which improves it considerably by gutting Todd Howard's pride and joy like a pig. To sum up what Frost is, I'll paraphrase some of the main points from the mod's front page. Lethal combat. Enemies will kill you in just a few hits and you will do the same to them. Your best bet is to take cover and not get shot. When you start the game, you are a malnourished, half-dead prisoner. You're weak and have just woken up from a coma, so of course you don't do as much damage with a pipe as a hardened cannibal or survivor would do. Scarcity. Ammo, meds, and other useful things are very rare. To find them in large quantities, you'll have to go where it makes sense for them to be, like medicine is more often found in hospitals. Radiation. Radiation is now far more deadly. Not only are all sources of radiation amped up, the new atmospheric radiation system gives all players constant rads if they dare to explore the outdoors without a protective gas mask. AI tweaks. Enemies use ammo and vary in accuracy. Lower level enemies will spew rounds at the wind, while expert marksmen will take you down from across the battlefield with one well placed headshot. Beware. Settlement overhaul. High-tech workshop items require schematics to build, which can be scavenged and collected in the world. Settlements have also been nerfed to be much more difficult to protect and will function more as personal bases. Legendaries removed. No more god weapons except for a handful of uniques. You'll use what you can get your hands on and be happy with it. Carry weight. Carry weight has been dramatically lowered. You will only carry the necessities. Perk edits. No more simply picking meat off of bodies. Invest in the hunter perk to harvest goods from your kills, or take the edited rifleman, commando, and gunslinger perks to increase your range and accuracy with their respective guns. Some other points that I'd put down are the following. Ghouls are much, much tougher. They barely flinch at being shot anywhere on their body, but a headshot will dispatch them quickly. However, they're quite a bit faster than they were in the base game, so you have to use expert marksmanship to take them out or sneak up on them. One by itself can be an absolute nuisance, while groups of 3 or more should be avoided at all costs if you're starting a new game. The mod changes the landscape to a chilling winter wasteland, an unforgiving, merciless tundra that will make no concessions for you. Wandering into the woods will get you torn apart by dogs, walking the main road will get you shot at by other survivors, wandering into buildings will subject you to extremely tense close quarters combat. I'm playing on survival mode, so all these aforementioned challenges are stacked on top of brutal illnesses, infections, hunger, sleep, requirements, thirst, sanity, and most punishingly, yet most rewarding, the new save system. To save your game, you must now sleep in a bed, but sleeping bags will only allow you to sleep 3 hours tops, while dirty beds will only allow you to sleep for 5 hours. Don't think that you can just jump into a building, sleep for an hour as some kind of quick save and continue either. Consistent intermittent sleep cycles will make you lethargic, tired, and possibly give you insomnia. These status changes slow your action point recovery, cause you damage, reduce your special stats, and a host of other lovely things. Norgrim04 is the creator of the mod, who previously created the infamous Dust mod for Fallout New Vegas, which I played and enjoyed as well. It shares many of the difficulties that Frost does, but does not benefit from the objectively better shooting mechanics that Fallout 4 offers. What Frost creates is a totally new experience that removes a voice protagonist, the storyline as a whole, punishes you at every turn, and yet creates a wonderfully rewarding game mode. One of the best things about Frost is about what it puts at stake. You put your time at stake. For each passing minute that you are away from a bed, that's another minute you risk losing and having to go back to your last save. Dark Souls and Bloodborne do similar things with a bonfire system by creating a space of time between safe zones, although as we know, these spaces have gotten shorter, which means you never have to worry too much about being so far away from safety. Something I noticed while playing Frost is that I actually began to respect the gameplay. What I mean by this is that I was never tempted to use the command console. With playing on PC, I am never more than a few keystrokes away from increasing my level, unlocking doors that are above my skills, increasing carry capacity, and so on. I think that's really important because while playing vanilla Fallout 4 seems to be about how much cool stuff you can carry, the interesting thing is it was behooved me more than anything to increase my carry weight in Frost, but because I respect the challenge it offers, it's more fun to keep that challenge untarnished. If you're interested in the mod, I encourage you to check it out and I will put it in the description. This has been another video trying out a different topic to talk about. While I love Dark Souls and Bloodborne, and don't worry, those videos won't stop anytime soon, I am not naive and realize that the well will eventually run dry, and I want to keep you guys interested in my content regardless of what it's about. Again, as I expand what I'm talking about on here, feel free to critique what I'm saying, or give me pointers as to what I can talk about as well. I hit 7,000 subs today, and I am very humbled by your support. The goal is 10,000 by the new year, but we will see how that goes. I have a lot of cool stuff coming up as we move towards this big milestone, so stay tuned. One more thing, I've been alerted to the fact that the dreaded missing videos in sub box thing that YouTube is experiencing has arrived at my channel, which is very frustrating. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to click the little bell next to my name so you get notified when I release something new. If you have anything you'd like to talk to me about, feel free to hit me up on Twitter or the Facebook page. Until next time.